Hi, and welcome to video number 24 with the title Not Being Your True Self. The not self refers to the compulsive persona that emerges from the interwoven characteristics of the conditioned mind. It's a conglomeration of habituated thought and behavior patterns that become familiar and often painful in a way that we have become accustomed to. The conditioning we experience daily can activate and strengthen the not self. It is important to remember that conditioning is not necessarily a problem, but a lack of awareness about conditioning almost always is. It is important to recognize the patterns of the not self emerging from the several energy centers in your body before we can talk about living according to your true self. You can recognize it when you are not living according to your true self if the following energies appear to rule your life. Frustration instead of satisfaction. Bitterness instead of experiencing a sense of success, not necessarily in a material way. Anger instead of inner peace. Disappointment instead of enjoying the surprise of life. When you live life according to your not self, the following situations are a part of your thought and behavior pattern. Worrying in your thoughts about things that do not really matter or are not really important. You are constantly looking for more inspiration by scrolling, hoarding ideas, and copying. You sense a lot of confusion in your mind and therefore pressure. You are obsessed with problems and always looking for answers. Your thought tells you to say nothing and stay silent if you are not certain. You have worries and you push others for answers, hold back, stay silent, and withdraw. Silence feels very uncomfortable, so you speak with no point. You think no one is noticing you, so you try to attract their attention by force. You overshare and you are lying and exaggerate things. You are needy, acting out, and dramatic. You are constantly seeking an identity and beating yourself up when you want to change. And you think you are not as lovable as you are. You feel ashamed. You shut down, hide parts of yourself, and you tend to be a people pleaser. You do not really know your place in this world, and you are looking for a magic community where you always feel good. You are doing things that you think others think you should do. And you have an issue with self-value, self-esteem. You are pursuing goals in life that others perceive as valuable rather than from a place of sufficiency. If you show people how good or kind or selfless you are, then they will like you. You tend to exaggerate, aggrandize, or boast about yourself. And you are scared to take beneficial risks, and you tend to stay in situations that are not healthy for you because you are afraid nothing better will come along. You believe you are not enough to pursue dreams, goals, and you focus on what is lacking. You suffer from a fear of missing out, and you accept invitations that are not correct. You think you are not allowed to have boundaries. You avoid saying no. You are over-giving and you stay in situations that do not honor your values. You can keep going even though you really need rest, sleep, food, drink, peace, etc. You ignore your needs. You tend to be a hoarder, buffering. For instance, emotional eating, drugs, drinking, alcohol, etc. Avoiding people, places, and situations. You have to make sure everyone is happy, and you are constantly scanning for people's moods, and you adjust your behavior to appease moods. You certainly don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You have the tendency to be over-responsible. You do or say certain things because of how it could influence others and how it might arouse their emotions. You're pushing yourself to grow, do and be more with no regard for where you end up. You rush and push beyond the body's natural limits, and you often start new projects and rarely finish them. Did you recognize any of them? The ones you have recognized indicate that you are not living according to your true self, leading to frustration, bitterness, anger, and disappointment. That's your indicator when you have these feelings. They are an indicator that you are not living according to your true self, and you have lost your true self in these areas. First of all, in these cases, it's important to have compassion with yourself. You have shamed, blamed, or criticized yourself more than enough already up to now. Stop this. Feel compassion and be grateful that you are now at least recognizing these patterns instead of only feeling stress and pressure without awareness. These themes merely imply that you are not yet a human being with a perfectly functioning mind and nervous system, and there are still many things to be discovered and learned. It's an indication of these areas in your life where you still live in survival mode, which is not truly living out of happiness, faith, trust, confidence, and inner safety as a substitute for the fake illusion of safety you tried to establish until now. Accept that you cannot deal with all these issues simultaneously. Pick one to start with. Be aware of this thought or behavior that is not serving you well. Define for yourself the exact opposite positive thought or positive behavior than the one that causes frustration, bitterness, anger, or disappointment. Ask yourself the question, what would I be or do when I would choose the exact opposite thought or behavior? Or we are looking for a solution. This might help. When you look at a certain thought or behavior, you get an answer to the question of what fear would do in your life. Exactly this thought or behavior that you just recognized. It's coming from fear. Now ask yourself the question, what would love do in this situation? And write it down for yourself. Please understand that self-acceptance starts with honesty and mildly admitting that these thoughts and behaviors have ruled your life and feelings, without guilt or judgment. You are not aware, so you are not to blame. Accept that it is as it is, even if it hurts a bit. Only by accepting can you show full responsibility for your own life and happiness without codependency on your environment and surroundings. And this is the only way to happiness and self-love. It cannot be different. I salute you, and I see you in the next video.